Hi, Samantha here from A Perfectly Imperfect Marriage, and this one is for the ladies. Today we're going to be talking about how the honeymoon doesn't last forever. The hot and steamy passion may have simmered out with all the responsibilities in your life, and the free intimacy guide that we have to kind of help guide you along the way if you are in this season. Um, some key pointers that are in that intimacy guide and the fun little game we've put together for a spontaneous date night at the end. I'd like to start off by saying there was a book that I read a couple years ago. It's called For Women Only. And what it is teaches you about the inner workings of men's lives, your man. So they did a bunch of surveys of guys, and they're pretty similar across the board. So I'd say like probably 90% out of 100 are pretty similar. One fun thing is there is a companion book for your husband for men only, and it's the same thing. They surveyed a bunch of women, so it goes into the inner workings of a woman's life. And a fun thing that you can do if your husband is interested in reading the companion is you read his and he reads yours, and then you make notes in there. So where that little 10% you might fall in, it'll make it very tailored to both of you specifically. That book was for women only and for men only, and the author is Shaunti Feldhahn. And again, I would very much suggest both of you reading those books. There was something that she mentioned in there that has stuck with me ever since as a good comparison between what it's like when we deny our man intimacy, physical, let me be specific, intimacy. And imagine if your husband stopped talking to you for days, weeks, months, in some cases, years. That's what it's like for a man when his wife stops having physical intimacy with him. Sex. Yes, that. Um, so picture coming home and trying to talk to your husband, or at the end of the night, you're laying in bed together and trying to talk to your husband, and he wants no part of it for days, weeks, months. It would be devastating. I couldn't imagine trying to talk to my husband and him never wanting to talk to me because he's too tired, because he just doesn't want to, because he just doesn't feel like it, whatever the case may be, because we've used them all, because he's got a headache. That was a very eye-opening moment for me, because it's real easy to say I'm tired and I don't feel like it and think that everything is just okay. The biggest difference between friendship and marriage is sex. It is the dividing line between the two. And so if you're not having sex in your relationship, you're one step away from just being friends who live together. That is the biggest difference. Everything else you do, you can do with your friends. So I just wanted to put those couple of little tidbits out there that are both in our free intimacy guide and give you some food for thought. You may agree, you may disagree, but really when it comes down to it, those are both pretty factual statements. Before you even get to the physical portion of it, there's so many things that lead up to that. You'll hear wives say it often that he'll just take off his clothes and say, let's go. Or you may rub past him in the kitchen. Maybe your counters are close together trying to get by. And he's like, okay, let's go. You see a lot of funny videos on TikTok. I see that all the time. Something falls on the floor. The wife leans down to get it. And the husband drags her off to the bedroom. And it is funny. And women don't tend to just be ready to go like that. We need the build up before. We need the sweet little love notes, the texts, the kisses, the hugs, the touches that are not sexual. They're just nice. But men need that too. When Ron and I sat down and talked about this to write this guide, from the husband's perspective, it's not just about physical release. It's tied to how respected your man feels, how wanted he feels, how connected to you he is. Physical intimacy is missing. When it's missing, it feels like they're being rejected. Not just being rejected to have sex, but just them personally feeling rejected by their wife. Maybe they start thinking that the attraction's not there, that you don't find them attractive anymore, that they're not providing enough for you. They start to doubt their manhood, so to speak. Um, some of these things I didn't understand until I started talking. Till Ron and I started talking about these things. So that is another thing, communication, which is big in so many areas of your marriage. But if you want to have good physical intimacy, if you want to have a healthy sexual relationship, you have to be communicating on many levels. And it's not just about everyday things, like picking the kids up from different things, or who's going to cook dinner, or who's going to clean, or, all those type of things. It's talking openly about your desires, your preferences, boundaries. You have to encourage each other to have these conversations, and you can't be fearful of judgment or criticism. I would also suggest different ways to learn. Invest by reading different books, like the book that I mentioned in the beginning of this, for her eyes, or excuse me, for women's eyes only and for men's eyes only. Going to retreats, seeking guidance from experts in this field, and my favorite, and hopefully yours, practice, practice, practice. What way can make you better at anything you do than with lots of practice? So having the conversations, having the little fun kisses and texts and little notes, and then having the practice sessions on putting all that into play at the end of the day, or maybe it's to start your day. I would also suggest, don't wait till after dinner because you're both probably going to be full and tired and not feel really up to it. So again, we have a free intimacy guide that dives deeper into all of these things I've talked about. It's a quick read. Like sit down and read it, and depending on how fast you read, I don't know, 30 minutes. Talk about it with your spouse. You could both read it, take turns reading it, and then check out the game at the end, because that's where you're going to have some fun. Definitely at the end. I am going to say my challenge, because I like to always give a challenge at the end, is that when you download this intimacy guide, the first thing you do is schedule the night for the game. Before you even read it, schedule the night for the game, and then read it, discuss it, and have some fun. Until next time, bye guys.